I also did play a little more of Crystal Chronicles.
Nice.
It was just I've only beat the mine level that we already played together.
The mine of Cathriges.
Yes.
I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce it. I know it's spelled, but I don't know how to pronounce it.
But I beat that, and that giant orc king was he was a pushover when we played him all with 4 people. With one person, it's a little more annoying.
Yeah.
Stressful.
He doesn't he do a self-destruct? I think he does. If you don't kill him fast enough, he does like a desperation move.
Yeah, that got me, but I had the Phoenix thing, so it was fine.
I've been playing a modded version of Final Fantasy IX on Steam,
Cool.
where they've AI'd the backgrounds to look better. But the best thing they did is they added it's a turn-based mode where they get rid of the the active gauge, and it's just all based on, I don't know what stat, but yeah, that's actually been the coolest part so far.
I kind of dig that.
Yeah, it's very awesome because there's that real long delay sometimes in 9 where you like select something and then it takes forever. That's gone. It's like as soon as you pick something, they do it, and it's immediately someone else's turn.
I dig that.
Yeah, and it looks really good too.
That kind of slaps.
Support. And it's all compacted into one thing you download. You basically download the Final Fantasy IX, run it once, and then download the mod. And all you have to do is run it through that from that point on, and has all the options right there. You used to have to like go in and like change, like download 500 things and put them all into a certain file, and then it wouldn't work. Yeah. And then
you gotta fuck with the file directories.
I've got one for 7, 8, 9 now, and the one for 7 has like way more mods on it. It's like kind of ridiculous how many mods I have for that one, but I haven't played it. I got it all set up and I didn't play it.
You mod it so much that it just becomes the 7 remake.
Yeah, it's like that was the game, was modding it and picking out what skins I wanted and everything, and now I don't play the game.
You mod it to the.
Go ahead.
You mod it to the point that like a god entity comes in and is like, now you're gonna change the future and go into an alternate universe, and Sephiroth knows about it too, and he's also the boss of this game.
They definitely one of the mods I have is called New Threat, where they change up the story a little bit and add new bosses. Like one of them is you keep running into the scorpion robot from the beginning, and it gets more janked up as you go. And then like there's all the different Shinra robots. They come back at one point at the end and turn into like a Power Ranger Zord, where they've all combined together. That's so that they've made their own models and stuff, and it's a lot harder. And everyone has a class, and you have a special level up place where you can like get certain bonuses, like Barrett. Every time he defends, he like covers, he'll get a defense bonus for that turn. So like if you have like cover and all this stuff on him for a boss fight, you can really basically make him a tank and get him overpowered. But none of these games are Doom, are they?
Before we get, I started playing I started Donkey Kong Country from the beginning today.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I was like, this is so much easier than the first time I played it.
Yeah, buddy. You're a pro esports gamer now.
I totally am. I got through the minecart in one go, no problem.
You did like an anime training sequence. You like meditated under a waterfall until you were powerful enough.
I just sat under a light with the Super Nintendo in front of me for 8 days in a row straight.
I'll be curious to see if you feel the same way when you start 2.
Well, we'll find out when they put 2 on the virtual console.
Yeah.
When and if.
Yeah, we'll see. Who knows what Nintendo's doing? Nintendo going Nintendo.
Well, it's a rights issue as well, I think, because Rare still has some rights to it.
Yeah.
Somebody's a bastard.
Somebody is a rat bastard somewhere. But we're not talking about Donkey Kong Country. We're not talking about Final Fantasy. We're talking about Doom, a much simpler game than any of those. Well, maybe not Donkey Kong, but definitely than Final Fantasy. Doom for the old school PC, but now for everything, including pregnancy tests.
Yes.
We are playing through E2 M4 Deimos Lab for Doom, the original 1993 Doom. I'm Aaron Neeson, joined by my co-host Andy Prim. Andy, hello, sir.
Hello.
And we are joined by one Flynn Taggart, the man himself. Hello, Flynn.
Oh, he's not saying anything.
You're not saying nothing
DOOMGuy.
now. It's Sam Ingersoll. Sam is here. Hi,
I lied
Sam.
the whole time. Hey, how's it going?
Hit him. Boys, we just played through the spooky Deimos Lab. What are we feeling now?
Definitely a little hell splashed in. I like your background, Aaron. That's exactly the part of the level I remember the most.
Dude, the iron bars with like the scrolling flesh texture background.
And specifically for all you YouTubers there, the second, like there's 1 bar, 2 bars. The face in between the first 2 bars is the one that had me laughing because it's definitely not a scary face. He's kind of going like, "Hey guys,
hey, how's it going, fellas?"
Some people are happy to be there. Some sadomasochists are like, "Yes, this is perfect. Hell yeah!"
You
stretch me into a wall.
Yeah, the Pinhead, just do it to me.
Yeah,
casino bites.
You know, it's a hell of a level when 2 seconds in, Big Mac Davis is already doing something that you missed.
Oh,
the
are
wall
you talking
there?
about the
secret right at the beginning. Yeah,
I felt really proud of myself for finding that. My first playthrough, I was like, "There's something here."
I found quite a bit of secrets this time around, but man, what a hell of a level! Literally, this was a very big, cool level.
I agree. Yeah, it's huge. There's a lot going on. It's another one where there's like environments like stuck together. You get to see a lot of like the space laboratory type stuff, but also a lot of like the Hell Castle type stuff, and they're just kind of smooshed together like dimensions colliding.
I agree.
Very cool.
I also spent quite a long time on that. As you go into the level, the first thing you see is just a teleporter pad. There's also a secret room that Big Mac, of course, found that I didn't. And then you go through the teleporter, you kill a few enemies, and you go up these stairs, and there's a whole bunch of goodies locked behind some pillars. And there's a column on the left with nothing on it, and a column on the right with a skull on it.
Yeah, it's like a little pedestal that like a skull is placed on top of.
Mm-hmm.
Never found out what to do with that, but apparently you do something to it because I just saw Big Mac get in there, but I'm not sure what happened.
So I think what pro esports gamer Big Mac Davis did was I think you just walk up against it and kind of walk towards the wall because you can't interact with it. I think it's just like where your position is. So you just have to stand like next to it in a certain way. And I guess the only clue is that there's a skull there, unlike the other pedestal, like you said. But yeah, it's not exactly obvious how you activate it.
Was there a switch in the ground there? Because he like wedged himself up a little bit between the pillar and the wall itself, and I stumbled across it. Like I was messing around with it, and then the pillar started. On my third attempt at this level, I was like, "What is in this damn room?" And I was just wandering around, and then eventually it went down. I was like, "Oh, cool! I get all this stuff," and then I had to fight the monsters and stuff. But I think it's got to be just like a little switch down there, right?
Some kind of positioning or something.
Yeah.
It's like you can tell that something's there because it's like bars, like a cell, like prison bars kind of, and you can see all the goodies back there, and you can see the skull on the pedestal, so you know like something's going on with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm pretty sure there's like many secrets in this game. It's just about stepping into a certain area on the map. It's kind of triggered by your location. There's another one like that I wasn't able to activate. I knew there was something there based on the map, but I wasn't sure how to get into it. But it's after this area, like kind of towards the beginning, there's like a few areas with like a bunch of nukage surrounding like some central islands that are all like techie, like it's the Deimos Lab. So there's all this tech equipment like on these little islands of nukage.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, within the nukage, like against one of the walls, I was pretty sure you could open the wall somehow to access some kind of secret back there. And I couldn't figure it out. Big Mac Davis elucidates the matter and explains that it's just about running around to the other side of the nukage pit and then just standing in a certain position. And then that's what opens the wall.
Okay.
This was a hard level, not even just for secrets, but in general. It finally broke me on something that I'd been proud of so far, was that I hadn't made any. It was all one run of a level, but this one I started saving through certain points, as I was playing it, mainly because when I sat down to play it the first time, I got pretty far through it and died. and just kind of sat there and just walked away for a few hours because I was like, nah, I don't want to do that again. But yeah, so this is the first level where I kind of save scummed a little bit.
Yes, join us on the dark side of save scumming. It's not a power you can learn from a Jedi.
I had to restart it 2 times. I played on Hurt Me Plenty. I'm sure that factored into your guys' deaths and restarting, but I played on Hurt Me Plenty. I had to restart 2 times. Once because I died, and once because I paused it and set my Switch down for a second, and the quick load button got pressed, and it accidentally quick loaded. It's something else. I came back to it. I was like, where am I? What is this? So I had to restart it 2 times, and that was kind of annoying, but it was this level, like, it was hard. It was definitely hard, but it was fun. I liked this level a lot.
Yeah. It definitely made me forget about the last few or whatever that I didn't care for. The last one, at least, was kind of boring and mundane. This one, man, there was like lots of enemies. Gosh, like I did the same thing. I like Mac is here. I chainsawed the cacodemons a lot. It works pretty well, sir. And they always turn around. My favorite side of the cacodemon.
You just jam that chainsaw right up that cloaca.
I really liked the contrast of colors in this level, where there's like the regular army base kind of hell stuff, but then there's like these big blue only or big red only rooms throughout the level that was kind of like, ooh, hey, this is kind of neat.
Just big throbbing hell textures. And it's like you said, a contrast, because you go from like a tech laboratory and all of a sudden you're in like these angry pulsating red zones that really make you feel like you're in hell, or that hell is like infecting this facility. And I really dig it.
It made me kind of pay more attention. Like, you'd go into one of these new rooms, like, and you're kind of, you're actually kind of looking around, and like, you're not just like looking for something else to fuck up. It's like you're taking a minute and like, whoa, that was kind of intense. Like, what's going on in this room all of a sudden?
Yeah, it gives you like, it's like visual storytelling. There's not a lot of text in this game, but you can kind of infer like elements of like narrative just from like what's going on in the level around you, which, that's the best kind of level design. And like a lot of old 2D games had that. And I think this game accomplishes that really well as well.
Do you think that it would have benefited also, though, from like text pickups, like finding computer terminals with like journal entries and or something?
Honestly, I would say no. And I'll tell you why. I've been playing South Park: The Stick of Truth lately. And I don't know if you all played that game, but it's phenomenal. And it's the first South Park game. And I got to, well, not the first one. I guess the first one was the N64 one.
The snowball fight one?
I remember that one.
Yeah. But this is like the first like current-ish gen one. I think it was like 2014 or something. But anyway, there's a part where you get abducted by aliens who are like doing a rectal probe of you, and you escape, and you're like trying to escape from the alien spaceship. And as you're going around, you keep finding audio logs from like the same guy who's like, I'm being pursued by the aliens. For some reason, I've stopped to record this audio log before I look for a way out. Why do I keep doing this? I keep finding other audio logs, and none of them are helpful at all, and they don't provide any useful information. Why do these people keep stopping and recording these audio logs?
I was going to say, like, modern gaming me would probably like that just for more, ambiance. But that's not really what Doom's about, I think,
No, agreed.
They're pushing it to the limit with the visual storytelling, while just, shipping you to the next place to lob grenades.
Definitely agree with that. Let me hit you guys with some stats before we go any further here. Some quick stats for E1M4, the Deimos base. So there are, on the ultraviolence difficulty, there are 80 enemies on this map, including no less than 4 Barons of Hell. Aaron, I think on Hurt Me Plenty, you only encountered 1.
Yes.
There are certainly 4 of these bad boys on ultraviolence. This was a Hall and Peterson map. So this is one that was begun by Tom Hall and perfected by the god, Sandy Peterson. And the music track by our friend Billy Prince is called "They're Going to Get You," which I think is based on an Alice Cooper track. There are your stats for this map. It's fairly large map, definitely larger than the refinery, which is the one we just completed, which felt like I don't know, like a palate cleanser, like between two larger levels. It was kind of short and inoffensive. Nothing particularly wrong with it, but not a it didn't blow the doors off.
Yeah.
But that one came after the containment area, which is like by far the biggest level we've played so far. So, but I got to say, Deimos Lab might be my favorite level so far.
I would agree to that. It was I'm surprised that it's not bigger. That it's not the biggest level so far. It felt huge.
It does
for whatever
feel really
reason.
big.
I think there's a lot of, I don't want to say backtracking, but you're kind of just going. You're constantly moving forward. I mean, I know that's like every Doom game, but it just felt like since there was so much variety in the parts of the levels, and it was all kind of at least centered around, hey, this is hell. It felt like I was concentrating a lot more and like focusing, and I don't know. It just felt like a bigger level with more stuff going on. I get, there's all the another thing they did was like this part here that Big Mac's going through. So you're teleporting, and then it sends you to a different, like the same teleporter is kind of like you're going to it from different places multiple times.
I like that. It's kind of recursive. It's backtracking, but it's like it feels natural the way you do it.
Yes.
And like you go down one path and it kind of loops back around to another place you've already been, but you can find like a new path forward because you have a new key card or whatever. But so it's like a large level and you end up looping around. It's not a maze though. Like I never felt lost. I feel like the wayfinding was really good. Like there's the big nukage area. There's the area with the jail bars with the power-ups behind it. There's the area with the blue walls that feels more like a tech laboratory, but then it has like that one wall that has like the portrait of Beta Ray Bill on it. Y'all remember what I'm talking about? It's just that one wall with like the big Beta Ray Bill face, that pentagon with the demon face, which I thought would open at some point.
I did too. Yeah, I came back to that a lot.
Well, can I ask you guys something? Like, did you guys spend any time trying to get those damn eyeballs?
Oh, that was going to bring up the eyeballs. Like that was like, it feels like a lot of times, like at least up until this level, like a lot of the demon stuff is just like, here's like a texture we're going to throw here because they're from hell, so we should have some hell stuff. The eyeballs felt like that, like these weird, like they're like just eyes of some monster with like almost like old, like nuclear power symbols like rotating around them.
Yeah.
Sitting up on this crusher, the Crushinator, that I had a lot of fun like kiting enemies through to get smashed by.
Jump, Crushinator, jump!
Yeah, that felt really weird and out of place, but I mean, it was still hilarious. It's like a very Doom thing. It felt like at this point.
Yeah, I agree. The Crusher's a cool and fun way to defeat enemies if you can manage to coax them into it. And I was reading on the Doom wiki, or I don't know, there's some fan page that has a lot of information that I've been using as a resource. But someone has calculated the ammo to enemy health ratio on every stage of Doom, which gives you a sense of like if there's, so basically on this stage, it's like the ratio is like 8.5, which means the enemies have more health than there is actual ammo. So if you were just starting this stage from scratch, you would have to do a fair amount of punching with the Berserk pack to actually defeat all of the enemies. So you'd have to be very judicious with your ammunition. So apparently in speedruns of this stage, like that go for max percentage, they end up punching just about everything in the level because it's just easier that way, even like the Cacos and the Barons of Hell. And then I found out that there's a speedrunning category called Tyson, where it's called Tyson because you just punch.
Wow. No thanks.
The problem with these Barons of Hell is they've been very rude to me, and I'm going to have to punch them out.
Let's call it Tyson. Slappers, even like
slappers only.
Yeah,
and then you go to federal prison at the end of the stage. Okay, so what did you guys? So Sam, you said this was a pretty tough level. I mean, Sam and I, as pro gamers, we encountered 4 Barons of Hell pretty tricky. I mean, I definitely used my plasma rifle to dispatch those fellas, as well as rockets. But I definitely had to, make a few safety saves and reload those several times. Aaron, on the Hurt Me Plenty difficulty, there's a single Baron of Hell, but nevertheless, did you think it was still pretty tough?
Not really. I mean, he wasn't like there weren't many other. If there were even any other enemies around him, when they're just by themselves and you just have to, because he was behind that door, so I don't think there was any other enemies around him. So just by himself, no big deal. Piece of cake.
The part that was the hardest for me only happened once. I usually play the levels a few times. There's that, I'm trying to remember where it's at exactly, but it's the giant spiral tower that at the bottom there are two secret doors that open that have two Lord Barons of Hell and a bunch of imps.
Mm-hmm.
I went through it like backwards one time, and basically when I got to the bottom, they were all out.
Yeah.
And it's also 3 or 4 Caco demons as well. So it was two Barons, probably like 8 imps and 3 to 4 Caco demons, and it's just like, oh my god, it was like I didn't die, but like that was tough.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about. That's a really tight room because, like, if you go in the proper way, there's like a ring that's like up on like a balcony level. You take an elevator down to like the lower part of this big circular room, and like you said, there's little alcoves around. And on Hurt Me Plenty, I think it's just imps and cacos. But on Ultraviolence, there's 2 Barons of Hell. Mm-hmm. And then after you dispense with all of them, there's like a series of switches that you press that keep raising spiraling stairs that go up and up in this central tower around and around. So it feels kind of climactic. And then you get to the top and there's like a space that you step on that activates like the lift that takes you to the exit to the stage. So I really dig that, just kind of like the theming and the design of that whole area. Salute to Sandy Peterson.
Yeah.
you really did it with this one, buddy.
It was a lot of fun.
But like Sam said, you can come in from the top. You can go a different route and find a teleporter, and you pop in behind the Caco and the demon there.
There's actually on that top floor, one of the corners has a hole in it, and you can drop down that way. And I think that was the way I went. That was so tough. Like I got low enough that activated all the horde to come out of their rooms, and then when I finally fell down, that's where they were all waiting for me.
Yeah, I had the same problem. And Big Mac Davis does that too. He goes in the back way, the back door, I suppose, and he deals with it like a pro because he's pro esports gamer Big Mac Davis. But if you're not prepared for that, you're going to have a bad time.
I also had a really bad problem of clipping the like corners of walls with the rocket launcher and just like basically blowing up my own face when I was fighting Barons. Never killed me, but it was definitely made the game a little tougher.
Yep, that'll happen. I also had a couple problems with the room where there's like those 5 doors, and you can only open the center one at first, and then there's like some power-ups in there, but after you come out, 2 of the other doors have opened, and a bunch of like demons and Caco demons come out of it. And if you're not prepared for that, they just kind of surround you. Of course, Big Mac is ready for it, and he just like runs out of the room, then turns around and uses the rocket launcher to just dispense with all of them in a gory fashion. But I definitely lost a lot of health on that area the first time.
Well, that room, I saw it, and I entered that room, and I was like, "This is a trap.
No.
This is where a bunch of enemies come and pop out and try and eat my face."
You were like Jeffrey Donovan in Sicario. I'm getting hard on.
Yeah, exactly.
I think one of the toughest combinations might be Pinkies and Caco demons, because like you see the Caco demon, if you pay attention to the Caco demons, you're fucked, because the Pinkies move so fast. You're looking at the Caco demons and they surround you, and you try and back up, and they just take you out. Like every time I've gotten killed or almost died, it's usually those two are together in some combination.
Dude, that's so true. It's a tough combo of ranged and melee attacks and just kind of large enemies that just surround you, make it difficult to dodge out of the way.
I also have this like obsession with the shotgun that I always use it over almost every weapon. So both, pinkies take about two if you're really close, and 3 generally. But the Cacos take, sorry, the Big Mac, that hole he just fell down.
Yeah.
That's the hole that I fell into before. So maybe it didn't. Yeah, and then it took me down here. Oh no, this teleports you back up to the top. Okay.
Yeah, it teleports you to the top there.
Yeah, it takes you to the top of the center of the big spiral room, and then you work your way down instead of up. And then you'll see when he gets to the bottom here, he's going to have a lot of shit to deal with.
Which this whole, like, as you're going down, you can press the buttons and things start to rise. And so that sort of threw me, because I was like, wait a minute, I just came from there. Why is everything going up?
I think I went to this part a different way every time I played it. So that's why I'm so turned around on what's going on.
Yeah. I think we mentioned it in passing, but there is a Berserk pack on this stage. Mm-hmm. So you can use that to deal with some of the ammo issues. Some enemies are easier to punch out than others. However, I didn't punch basically anything when I played this stage, but I was coming in with a lot of ammo from the previous stages.
Yeah.
So I used a lot of it, but I didn't run out, fortunately.
But I had the chainsaw leftovers too. So if I had to punch, it was usually just chainsawing.
I don't think I had the chainsaw. I don't think I have it in my game. I want the chainsaw back.
You're going to have to start all over from scratch.
I might play it on Nightmare like you
Ultra
maniacs.
Nightmare.
Ultra violence.
I mean, I'm just playing it on its normally, like, its intended mode.
Yeah, this is the intended mode.
It's a game made for maniacs. It should be banned.
It should definitely be banned. It's
cancel Doom.
Doom is canceled. John Romero and John Carmack are canceled. It's a game that warps your mind. Id Software. They should all be put in prison, except for Sandy Peterson, who's a good Mormon boy from Missouri.
I mean, I know I'm worshiping Satan now. I wasn't, and now I am. So
honestly, Satan's got some good ideas. I'm kind of on his side. When Lucifer Morningstar was cast out of heaven, I would say he was on the right side of history there.
I mean, God is he's kind of a
hashtag cancel crazy. God.
Hashtag cancel God.
God is canceled. Have you guys read this part in Genesis where he destroys the entire world on purpose? It's pretty fucked up.
Oh my God. Andy said the N-word in a tweet once.
Yes.
I was young. It was a long time ago. I'm sorry. It was funny back then.
It was in 2005. I was trying to be edgy on the internet.
Eve was the first Me Too.
All right. Well, fellas, I wanted to do a little bit of history today because I have obtained a new resource. No longer is this podcast going to be just a bunch of bullshit and talking out of our asses and reading Wikipedia articles. No. I have obtained a primary source. I checked out the nonfiction book Masters of Doom by David Kushner from the Public Library in St. Louis. Shout outs to the St. Louis Public Library. And it's a pretty cool book. Basically, it's kind of a retrospective. It focuses mostly on Carmack and Romero, talks about their childhoods and kind of like how they got their start in the industry, how they met, and then eventually the formation of id Software and the creation of Doom, and then some of like the aftermath of that. But mostly it's like that critical period around the development of the Doom game. I'm not too far into it yet. I read the first couple of chapters, which focus on the childhood of John Romero and John Carmack. Fascinating stuff. Let's just say that neither of them had particularly happy childhoods, unfortunately.
Full of doom and gloom.
You could say that. You could say that. Romero was kind of a dorky kid. He had like his parents split up when he was little, and like his dad was from Mexico and his mom was from the U.S. And apparently there were some issues, like in they were from Houston, Texas, I think, and people didn't want to accept an interracial marriage or something like that. And the dad ended up leaving the family. The mom got remarried. The stepdad was like a drill instructor who was like really strict and would get like pissed off and like beat him for going to video arcades and shit like that. So a very tumultuous home life.
That fucking sucks.
Yeah. I felt bad for him. It's interesting. I mean, like he says like the stepdad sometimes would like take him to video game competitions. So that was cool. But then other times would like whip the shit out of him for, going to a video arcade. So I don't know. But anyway, Romero ends up like in high school. They moved to England for a while because his dad's still in the service and they have to go live on a base in England. But he's like coding his own games in his spare time and like sending them to computer magazines. And like he's like writing letters to computer magazines where he signs his letters like John Romero, ace programmer, when he's like 16.
Oh man,
that's awesome. I like the moxie on that on 16-year-old John Romero.
Dude, he was kind of a tight guy. He was like a popular kid in high school. He was like dating girls and like, listening to metal music and making like violent video games. Honestly, he seems like a pretty chill dude, if you ask me.
I'm sure he is. I mean, dude created Doom, man. He's fucking still out there making shit and like chatting with people on Reddit and
now
in Ireland. It's great.
Yeah, he cool guy. Seems like he's pretty happy now. So, all shout outs to John Romero. Sorry about your childhood, man. That sucks. But, it seems like he stayed a pretty chill guy. Nevertheless, was like selling his own little games to magazines and stuff. And
yeah, that's cool.
I will say that one not so chill thing is his first marriage, which kind of fell apart after he like fucked up and like lost his job and like didn't have any income and couldn't support his wife and kids. His wife had to go live with her parents. But we all make mistakes.
I mean,
it's true. Like that and Daikatana.
Now, why you got to bring up that? That's a really dark time in his life.
Yeah,
you don't need
dude. Someday we're going to do a deep dive just on Daikatana.
Yeah, we absolutely should.
Yeah, but then we have to play it.
I bet Big Mac Davis has us covered.
Yeah, we'll get Big Mac to take that bullet for us. Well, fellas, I thought we could use a visual reference here. So, of course, this is John Romero, the man with the long, luxurious hair and the cool guy's armless T-shirt. That's Tom Hall in the background acting like an idiot. I'm not sure who the two guys in the middle are. One of them is probably Carmack's brother, Adrian. And then, of course, on the left here, we have dead-eyed psycho John Carmack. John Carmack, I mean, from reading the parts about his childhood, he is a robot person, just devoid of empathy or any kind of understanding towards other human beings. He like didn't talk at all until like he was like 2 years old, and then just started speaking in complete sentences. Apparently was just really difficult for his parents to deal with. He was really smart and good at math. And like when he was in second grade, he was like doing standardized tests at like a 9th grade level, but he just hated school because he thought it was boring. And all he wanted to do was like code games and like design graphics on his Apple computer.
I don't have time for school. I'm a gamer.
Exactly. Which, I mean, the three of us, we know a lot about that feeling. He, like I said, complete psycho. He got kicked out of high school for brewing up some thermite at home and then using it to melt the windows of the school computer lab so he could break in and steal Apple computers.
Jesus.
What?
Diabolical.
What? That seems... I could go get a brick and do that. Like, I do admit though, his way is cooler. That is cooler than
it's
just
much
taking
cooler. Yep, he was online like early internet bulletin boards, learning how to make homemade explosives, among other wonderful pursuits.
Downloading the anarchist cookbook and stuff, and
right.
Yeah. God.
Yeah, apparently he and a few other juvenile delinquents. They came up with this plan to like burn a hole in the windows and climb in and then haul the computers out. But one of their friends was too overweight. This is what he says. All right, I'm not shaming. He says one of his friends was too overweight and couldn't fit through the hole they'd made. So he reached through and like undid the thing on the window, the latch to open it. But opening the window set off the silent alarm. And then the cops came and arrested all of them. So he had to go live at a juvenile home for a while.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Yikes.
Yeah. So that's John Carmack. Also reportedly he had a vocal tic when he was younger, and I think even as an adult, where sometimes he would end his sentences by going like a computer, like humming or like worrying or like looking for data or something.
Okay.
He's not human.
He's completely not human.
He also works for Facebook. Well, did.
Yeah, because he worked on the Oculus, right?
Yeah, he did. But I think he left. He works on like AI stuff now or something. Okay. I can't remember.
Yeah, much more comforting. That's what I want. I want him working on artificial intelligence.
I identify more with AIs than with humans.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I've never met the man. He could be perfectly nice, but from everything I've read about him, he's apparently difficult to get along with.
Yeah.
As I'm sure John Romero and Tom Hall can attest to. And Sandy Peterson, who, by the way, Sandy Peterson is the true hero of this story.
Well, did Sandy Peterson ever work with him?
Yeah, oh yeah. Because after Tom Hall got fired, that's when Sandy Peterson came in.
Tom Hall got fired, not, yep. I had mixed up people for a second.
Yep. So there was a little bit of overlap there. Like we said, as Tom Hall was going out the door, Sandy Peterson was walking in, looking all cool with like a lady on each arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are the boys, the two Johns. It's a tale of two Johns, just like my favorite band, They Might Be Giants. But in this case, they're not still together. I don't think they speak much anymore. But which is not the case for They Might Be Giants. They're lifelong friends, and it's pretty sweet. Okay, well, fellas, what do you say we wrap it up for today?
Yeah, I think we did it. We didn't really talk about the faces, the most defining feature of
that's true.
This level. We kind of just sort of glossed over a little bit.
Oh, you mean the distorted ones that are like scrolling along the background? Yeah.
It's probably the most surprising set piece bit of scenery that I can think of thus far. I was definitely transfixed by it for a little while, just watching it go by.
Yeah, it's just hypnotic the way it just keeps scrolling by.
Mm-hmm. And it's also almost like a little bit, probably the most horrific, like horror elements that we've seen thus far. Like, because these faces are like, they're not moving, but they're alive. They're like looking at you as they go by, many with pained expressions.
Yeah, they're tortured souls.
Yeah, it's kind of fucked.
In Doom 2, in between every level, the interstitial backgrounds are just those faces because there's no map screen. So it just shows you those tortured faces.
Which is bullshit. No map.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's just the same one throughout the same static faces throughout the entire game.
Same thing the whole time. Kind of a letdown.
No wonder everybody hates Doom 2.
People don't hate it, but it's basically just like a level mod or expansion pack for Doom 1. It really feels like that.
Yeah, like people always talk about Doom, but they never really talk about Doom 2. Like it's
true. Yeah, they just kind of jump over that one.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, some people I see online talking about Doom 64, but that's another one that's sort of glossed over. Doom 3 is very controversial for the Doom fandom. And then Doom 2016, woo!
Yeah. Well, and you didn't even mention Final Doom, which is the actual Doom 3. I'm
not even familiar with that, I don't think.
Yeah. Final Doom was like the third game in the original PC Doom trilogy. So they did Doom, Doom 2, and then Final Doom, like all one right after the other. And for Final Doom, I think like id Software might have done a little bit, but I think a lot of it was just like fan level ideas that they just like bought from like independent creators and just like stuffed into the game. So it really was like just a level expansion pack at that point.
It's a mishmash of different concepts and designs.
Yep.
Okay. I'll just have to look into that because that's a new one to me completely. So yeah, another one that gets glossed over.
Yeah, there's a lot in the Doom canon that gets glossed over. For example, gentlemen, did you know that there is a Doom RPG?
What? No.
Yeah.
No.
Not one, but two for mobile phones.
I was going to say, it's probably, this sounds like an early mobile phone kind of game.
Yeah, I want to say like 2010 in that range, something like that. Apparently fairly good. I mean, I was seeing like 80% for like ratings for it. So I guess it doesn't suck completely like, like the Sonic RPG.
I have to look into that. I did not. I was not aware of that. I'll have to see if it's still out there. Pick up something to play on my phone.
You're like on the train to work playing the Doom RPG on your phone.
I think this is like pre-smartphone games though. Like, because I had a few. I was actually looking at. There's someone was making a post about. A streamer was playing like Superman on like the last generation of non-smartphone games. So they're kind of like souped up Super Nintendo games, but very much not the kind of, when you think of a mobile game now, nothing like that. Very, very different. And I'm looking. I found a video here, and it's very much like almost kind of like Andy will know this, Etrian Odyssey, where it's the first person dungeon crawler kind of game. So like you kind of take steps one at a time and go through a big map, and the enemy will come up and you pick which gun, and that's what you attack with. It's like a turn-based thing, it looks like.
Okay. Yeah. Like Phantasy Star or like Wizards and Warriors or something like that.
Cool.
Yeah,
but just the way that's moving reminds me, because I had Aaron will remember this. I had a LG chocolate. Oops, sorry.
I meant Might and Magic, not Wizards and Warriors.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Put your keyboards down, all you dorks out there.
But I had an LG chocolate, and I had a Castlevania game on there that was really hard to control. But the chocolate was the phone that I had that kept calling you, Aaron, over and over and over again.
Okay.
And when we lived in the dorms, I had to make a fake phone number that was all A's, because it had a scratch on it was like an early touch screen, but a scratch on it, so it would constantly cycle through and call the first number in my contacts list. And
I was always so excited. And then
there was some guy in China that just kept getting calls from you just over and over. Just very confused and pissed off. Okay. Well, we tried the end of the episode, but we found we just had so much more to talk about. Aaron, did you have anything else you wanted to add about those just glorious, distorted, twisted faces?
No, they're fucking awesome. I was really sad to leave the room. It was just cool. I just wanted to be like, guys, let's gush about the faces for a minute. Just whether it confirms that there's souls in hell or if it's just another dimension or not, I don't know, but it's fucking cool.
Well, don't worry, because we'll definitely be seeing more of those, as well as other fucked up and disturbing textures.
Yay, I'm so excited. But other than that, I think that we did it, guys. I think we did it.
We did it.
We did it. We did it. We did Deimos Lab, and it was awesome.
All right. Well, thank you, folks, for joining us. We'll be back in your podcast feeds very soon with the next episode of this series. We'll be playing E1M5, which is something that I don't remember the name of now.
Which is the next level.
It's I think it's like Control or Central Command or something like that. But we'll look it up real quick. Aaron, you say some stuff to the folks at home while I look that up.
I want to thank everybody for listening. Please go to onestageatatime.com for all of your One Stage podcast needs. Follow us on social media. We really appreciate the likes and the follows. And I want to say thank you to Sam, aka Flynn Taggart, for joining us here tonight as we go through Deimos Lab. And we appreciate you, buddy.
You got it.
E2M5 Command Center is the next stage.
Command Center. And we'll see you all next time. Sam, give us that sign off, my man.
Remember to save and continue.